I pay her taxes. I have every right to speak about her in particular within her role. I'm not talking about where she lives, what she looks like, anything like that. Nothing personal. This is purely professional, and this is purely governmental. Can I continue?
Try to keep it professional.
I've already told you what I'm doing, and I'm making that very clear, and I'm not going to change.
Keep it professional.
I have not. I have only kept this professional. You are debating me, and you are violating your own rules.
Folks, this right here is a perfect example of what's wrong with our education system today. This man is bravely standing up and saying what so many of us are thinking. We pay taxes, a lot of taxes, and it's about time we started holding these so-called educators accountable.
I'm here to talk as a parent. I've got 2 young boys. We live in Glendale, and when they come of age, I am deeply concerned about their educational prospects in this city. I'm also a taxpayer. I pay a lot of taxes in this city, many of which go to this district. And I'm deeply concerned about how that money is being spent, particularly, and I'm going to single out a person at the in the school district named Dr. Kelly King, who's sitting right here to my left. Dr. Kelly King makes over $250,000 a year. Every 4 years, we give her $1 million. We will be paying for her pension for, the duration of her life after she retires. And she's doing things that I completely disagree with, and I think many members of the community would also disagree with.
He pays her salary. That means he, like all of us, has a right to question what's going on in this school district. This isn't personal. This is about the way our money is being spent and how our kids are being affected. If we're paying, we should get a say. Let's talk about Dr. Kelly King for a second. $250,000 a year. For what? To push an agenda that most parents in the community wouldn't even support? This is the problem. We're paying top dollar for someone to implement policies that go against our values. And we're supposed to just sit back and accept it? I don't think so.
Previous speakers have mentioned the number of Armenians who live in Glendale. How many Armenians would support what she does? Let me discuss what she's doing. In a recent video in 2017, she reflected Glendale Unified policy when she stated, and I'm going to quote, "We have a lot of resistance from male coaches who are horrified at the thought of having a biological girl changing clothes in front of them." Which biological girls are changing clothes in front of coaches in Glendale Unified? That's a question I'm genuinely asking. She continued, "It's not a girl. It's not a girl. It's not a girl. You only have boys in the boys' locker room." She just said it was a biological girl.
May I just stop
I'm
for a
speaking
moment?
now. You're not. No, I'm speaking. This is interrupting my time.
Well, we
Can I
can
pause
pause
this,
the
please?
time. Can you pause the time for a minute? I only want to say that to refrain from personal attacks. So
She
please.
is a government official. She's a government employee. This is not a personal attack. I pay her salary with my tax dollars.
Again, please talk towards the policies that you
I'm
are
talking about-
against
and
and refrain from personal attacks, and your time will continue. Please go ahead.
In what way have I personally attacked Dr. King? She is acting within her official role as assistant superintendent at Glendale Unified. How is that a personal attack? I'm talking about tax dollars being used in a way that I disagree with. I'm going to continue.
Continue talking about the policy that you disagree with.
Dr. King quoted to say that biological girls were changing in front of male coaches. And then, so she knows it's a biological girl, and then proceeded to say it's not a girl 3 times. You know it's a girl. You know it's a girl. Or
Okay,
you know
so
it's a
she's
boy,
an
you know it's a
employee of
boy.
ours, and if you wouldn't mind telling us what policy you dislike.
There is why am I being interrupted for speaking about an official member, a superintendent at Glendale Unified, speaking in an official manner? You cannot interrupt me for that. You have no ability to do that. And furthermore, the rules stated you won't debate. You're debating me right now.
This part should concern every single parent. Male coaches being forced to deal with biological girls changing in front of them? What kind of insanity is this? The man's not exaggerating here. This is the reality of what happens when woke policies override common sense. And these coaches, they're right to be horrified. This is just asking for trouble. Oh, now they want to silence him. Of course they do. The second you start calling out the truth, they pull out the personal attack card. But this isn't personal. It's about holding a government employee accountable. She's paid with taxpayer dollars. and we have every right to criticize her policies. That's not an attack. It's our duty as citizens.
Correct? I'm going to continue. In discussing permanent records, she states that she keeps permanent records for a handful of trans students literally next to her in her room. She does not indicate that person's gender identity for fear that the parent might find out. Why is she concealing this from parents? She says, we kind of go out on a limb, and we know that's controversial to some people. Which people? Which parents? Armenian parents? Christian parents? Are those the ones who are being excluded from knowledge on their own children and their own identity in Glendale's Unified School District? And you preach inclusive policies. We can talk about that policy. Yet she's excluding parents.
So
she's
again,
excluding parents. I'm going to continue.
And I might just ask for a pause and ask for information. Maybe I'm mistaken. Can you pause the time for a moment, Mr. Sahakian?
And this is where it gets really disturbing. They're keeping permanent records on students, but they're hiding that information from parents? Think about that for a second. What kind of school hides information about a child's gender identity from the parents? This isn't just controversial, it's downright wrong. Parents deserve to know everything that's going on with their children. And let's be honest here, the people being kept in the dark are the ones who actually care about traditional values. Armenian parents, Christian parents, people who believe that the family should have the final say when it comes to raising their kids. But in today's schools, apparently, they think they know better than us.
Thanks. So I wouldn't mind getting input in terms of, is this?
So my understanding, again, is that we are the arbiters of policy. That is our decision. And so our employees are operating based off of our direction and the direction up here at the dais. So it is appropriate to criticize the policy. It is appropriate to question that. It is not appropriate to personally attack and denigrate a specific employee. I do not believe that that is covered under the public comment.
I'm not personally attacking anybody.
Yes, you are, sir.
No, ma'am, I am not. I am not personally attacking her. I disagree with what she said in her role as assistant
so
superintendent.
Then you disagree with the policy, so please continue with the disagreement of the policy.
I am disagreeing with her, and this is not, you are debating me right now. You said you would not debate me. Why are you debating me?
So you're using that particular thing inappropriately, the fact that we don't debate. So
I am not attacking her personally. This is under her official role as assistant superintendent at Glendale Unified. You are not allowing me to speak freely in a government entity about a government employee. I pay her taxes. I have every right to speak about her in particular within her role. I'm not talking about where she lives, what she looks like, anything like that. Nothing personal. This is purely professional, and this is purely governmental. Can I continue?
Try to keep it professional.
I've already told you what I'm doing, and I'm making that very clear, and I'm not going to change.
Keep it professional.
I have not. I have only kept this professional. You are debating me, and you are violating your own rules.
So, Mr. Sahakian, go ahead and open the time again.
Thank you so much. Dr. Kelly King has worked with Gender Spectrum, an organization which you guys have actually paid money to in several schools. If that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. She's worked with Gender Spectrum to produce gender support plans. In these gender support plans, she ranks parents whether on how affirming they are on a scale of 0 to 10. Who determines that? Based on what criteria? I'd love to know that policy.
And now it gets even worse. She's working with outside organizations to rank parents on how affirming they are. Since when does a school have the right to rank parents? This is beyond unacceptable. Parents should be in control of their children's upbringing, not some woke school administrator and her gender support plans.
She says, if the parent's not affirming, the parent may not be involved in this document. That's the gender support plan. This may be a private conversation. So let's talk personal now, because she is. This may be a private conversation between that trusted adult at the school. Is that adult trusted by the parent? Who is the trusted adult? Define trust, please. This may be a private conversation between that trusted adult at the school and the student about how we keep you safe at home, emotionally and physically.
What's even more shocking is this idea of trusted adults in schools having private conversations with kids about their gender identity, without the parents being involved. Who gave them that right? Parents should be the most trusted adults in a child's life, not some school administrator who thinks they know better.
Who's personal? Who's professional? Personally, I'm being professional. What she has done and the policies none of you have spoken out against is a complete deviation from that sacred boundary between government and personal lives and privacy, especially of minors. And we're talking about sexuality, sexual identity, and you're not going to divulge that to parents intentionally. And again, she makes over $250,000 a year. While 43%, only 43% of Glendale Unified High Schoolers are proficient in math upon graduation. Only 65% are proficient in reading. And you pay that much money to institute those policies while you're literally failing to produce the adequate students for the 21st century. Thank you so much.
And here's the kicker. They're paying Dr. King over $250,000 a year. Meanwhile, student performance is plummeting. Only 43% of students are proficient in math and 65% in reading. So where's all that money going? Not to better education, that's for sure. Instead, it's being funneled into these misguided policies that are doing nothing to prepare our kids for the real world. This man is saying what so many parents are feeling. Our kids are being failed by this system, and we're paying for it. These radical policies are turning our schools into battlegrounds for cultural wars instead of places where children learn the skills they need to succeed. And it's high time we push back.